Many GTA San Andreas players have at some point gone online, visited GTA forums or videos, and come across a curious theory that says Carl was killed by Salvatore's right-hand man, and they directly took this theory as real. And over the years, this gained more popularity among the gaming community, but many have not really delved into the reliability of this theory. So that's why I wanted to make this video. My name is Sharky, your trusted channel. Today's video will delve into the popular theory that suggests Toni Cipriani was the one responsible for ending CJ's life, a theory widely accepted as part of the canon lore. And here we will analyze it and I will determine if it is real or not. Well, to put them in context about what this theory is about. Talking about this topic, I will explain what it consists of. Everything is closely intertwined with Caligula's Casino, which was owned by Salvatore Leone, a prominent mafia boss in Liberty City. Salvatore was the influential head of the Leone family, a major criminal organization in the city. The casino played a significant role in his operations. Well, CJ, along with more friends like Woozy, meticulously strategize and plot to rob the casino. However, executing their heist requires gaining Salvatore's trust, a crucial element in their elaborate scheme. Therefore, CJ begins to do missions for Salvatore, showing his skills and gaining Salvatore's trust. This trust strengthens their relationship. But little by little, sometime later, CJ carries out the heist at the Caligula's Casino. For obvious reasons, this fact makes Salvatore very angry and furious. In fact, he even called CJ, threatening to end the lives of his loved ones and himself.
Sup?
You two-bit backstabbing piece of eggplant shit!
Salvatore! Nice to hear from you too.
You're dead. Your friends are dead. Your family's dead. I'm gonna fuck you up and your children and your grandchildren.
Well, it's been nice talking to you, but I got some money that needs spending on some expensive trash, so if you excuse me.
You're dead. Dead.
All of these factors must be taken into careful consideration, particularly emphasizing the significance of the call in relation to this theory. After receiving the call from Salvatore, many people didn't take it seriously at first, dismissing it as just another in a series of calls CJ received in GTA San Andreas. Due to the frequency of such calls, its significance was downplayed and overlooked. But things changed quite a bit when in 2005 GTA Liberty City Stories is released, which is the game where Toni Cipriani is the protagonist. And let's remember that GTA Liberty City Stories takes place 6 years after the events of GTA San Andreas. That is, that game takes place in 1998. At the beginning of that game, we see Toni Cipriani returning to Liberty City, and from what we know, thanks to the synopsis that appeared on the cover of the game in Spanish, Toni Cipriani was out of the city because he had taken down an important gangster, and to avoid being targeted by him or the Leone Mafia, he escaped from Liberty City. This also needs to be taken into account, as it is closely related to the theory. In summary, this context is essential for them to understand. And now I will provide a comprehensive explanation of the theory. Well, the theory is firmly based on those two key aspects. The first is that on the cover of Liberty Stories in Spanish appears the text that I already mentioned to you before, where it says that Toni had killed an important gangster. The second thing he relies on is Salvatore's urgent call to CJ after he audaciously robbed his cherished casino. In summary, it is believed that Salvatore Leone, after the robbery at his casino, sent Toni Cipriani to end CJ's life, who is believed to be the important gangster mentioned on the cover. But the truth is that all this theory has something that is not right, and the main argument it relies on is the fact that Toni killed an important gangster, which resulted in significant repercussions. That is to say, at no point did Rockstar make it clear who that gangster is, so it could be CJ or it could potentially be another character within the game's universe. In other words, at the end of the day, this shouldn't even be considered a theory but rather a speculation, as there is no solid evidence proving that the gangster is CJ. That is to say, this theory, in quotation marks, can be dismantled simply by saying that it is based on an assumption. As previously mentioned, it cannot be affirmed so lightly that the gangster is CJ without concrete evidence or proof. And if for you this is not a sufficient argument to dismantle this theory, well, there is something else, and it's something that not many people know. Well, let's continue. Returning to the game's cover, in the English-speaking version we see that Toni returned to Liberty City after taking down a maidman. This term is frequently employed by the Italian mafia to denote a person of significant influence. That is to say, taking into account the cover written in English, we see that we do not even know for certain if Toni ended up with a gangster or if he killed another type of important person. That is to say, following the English-speaking version, it is not at all likely that they are referring to CJ. And surely now many people will have the doubt as to why the Spanish cover does not perfectly match the English-speaking cover, and in this explanation I will clarify the reasons behind this discrepancy. Many may now think that this error or confusion is due to the fan community's speculation and imagination. Over the years, it has been observed that numerous GTA San Andreas fans frequently fabricate false mysteries or unsubstantiated theories in an attempt to exaggerate the game's complexity when in actuality the truth is far simpler than they portray. I hope that my words are not misinterpreted with this. And many fans try to see curiosities or mysteries where there are none, and this ultimately only generates misinformation. Some individuals do it intentionally to create misleading content, while others do so inadvertently with no ill will. What I'm trying to say is that ultimately GTA San Andreas doesn't have that many mysteries, as a large percentage of them are invented by the fandom itself. And a clear example is the theory that I am discussing in this video. Well, as I have already explained, certain fans are responsible for generating this type of errors. However, when it comes to this theory, not all the blame can be placed solely on the fans. Rockstar also shares responsibility for it. I will now clarify things for them. Indeed, the cover featuring Tony's alleged killing of a significant gangster is authentic and specific to the Spanish edition of the game, providing a unique touch to that version. In summary, those in charge of creating subtitles and translating Rockstar games into Spanish, that is, Rockstar Spain, are responsible for this error. And it was simply put, a poorly done translation. Since we remember that Rockstar in those times, like most developers from the year 2000 to 2010, it was not very common for neutral Spanish translations to be made for their games, that is Latin American Spanish. Therefore, the culprit was specifically identified as Rockstar Spain, ruling out any involvement from entities like Rockstar Latin America. And thanks to this, people have created their own unique conclusions and theories. Honestly, I am not surprised at all that Rockstar has delivered a subpar Spanish translation in a GTA game, as this issue is more prevalent among fans than commonly believed. If we go back to Grand Theft Auto 3, this game had a lot of errors in Spanish, and for me the funniest translation error was this one, where instead of putting the disappearance of love, they made a literal translation of Donald's last name. So in the Spanish version of the game, this mission is called the disappearance of love. There are also bad translation in the subtitles. For example, there is a mission in San Andreas where we clearly hear Tenpenny telling us to go to a hotel, but in the subtitles it says we have to go to the pier, and it is a mistake in the subtitles.
Oh, yeah? Well, where I go find him?
He's at the Vankov Hotel in the Financial. He's at the Vankov Hotel in the Financial.
There are many bad translations of this style, and translating Maidman as if it meant gangster was also a mistake. Luckily, many of these translation errors were corrected in more recent releases, such as the 10th anniversary versions or in the definitive edition itself. And speaking of the 10th anniversary releases, there is something to clarify. And in the description of Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories for the mobile version, which came out a few years ago, was modified, and instead of putting gangster they put the word maidman, but in Spanish clearly. That is to say, it is a better translation and is more in line with the word madman. And let's remember that this version of the game is the most updated to date, which means that Rockstar corrected their mistake. And besides, this completely disproves the theory that Tony killed CJ, since CJ is obviously not someone who belongs to any mafia, so Carl cannot be considered a mobster. In summary, the theory, or rather speculative idea, has been thoroughly debunked. Therefore, officially and without fear of being wrong, Toni Cipriani did not end Carl's life. And all that previously held theory is completely debunked. Another thing I want to point out is that, in summary, the call Salvatore made to CJ after the heist was nothing more than yet another empty threat. And it completely makes sense that Salvatore didn't fulfill it. I say this because during that tumultuous time between 1992 and 1998, the Leone Mafia was facing a severe crisis, compounded by the infamous heist at the Caligula Casino. So Salvatore, the powerful leader of the Leone family and his mafia, had other pressing priorities that took precedence over pursuing CJ. This could also be considered another compelling argument to debunk the theory. However, given that it's not an official statement, it should not carry significant weight in evaluating a video like this. And in my opinion, I believe CJ was not murdered. Another video will cover that topic. There have already been many people who have talked about this issue, but I wanted to contribute my 2 cents to at least fight against the misinformation in the Grand Theft Auto community. And I believe it would be very helpful if you share this video with more people, since obviously there will be more people who are unaware of this theory that has no basis at all, so they will continue to hate Toni Cipriani literally for a translation error made by Rockstar Spain. And with this video, I also tried to debunk this theory in quotes. I would also like more people to be encouraged to play GTA Liberty City Stories because despite not having as many gameplay mechanics as San Andreas, it is a very well crafted and enjoyable game. Many of you will realize while playing it that it has a significant number of connections and references to previous GTAs, which will greatly assist you in comprehending the intricate lore of the saga. That's all for today's video. If you want me to debunk or verify more theories of this style, then please support this video a lot and I will soon bring you more theories like today's. I also want to tell you that you can follow me on my social networks, especially on Twitter, since I am much more active there. Having said that, I say goodbye and I will leave you more videos to watch now.